Imagine showing up to work only to find out your job is now being done by a bot. Why? Because some guy in IT automated your task and it's faster, cheaper, and doesn't take coffee breaks. This isn't science fiction. It's happening now. Some call it the future of work, others a white-collar bloodbath. But the real questions are, who is really bleeding? Who is quietly rising from the shadows? Welcome to IllMind, where the truth is real, but the story is insane.
You know how people always say, I love your content, but don't really show it?
Now they can with Tip.
Let's start in Sweden. Klarna fired 2,100 people, then proudly bragged about their new AI bot doing 700 jobs. They attached themselves to OpenAI and volunteered to be guinea pigs in the AI revolution, only to quietly admit the bot kinda sucked. And humans? Guess you're wondering. Yeah, humans were better. Klarna CEO Sebastian Siemiatkowski said, and I quote, "We fired 700 employees and replaced them with AI," end quote. Then he circled back saying, and I quote, "Offering human customer services will always be VIP thing," end quote. So basically we thought AI was God. Turns out it's just kinda mid. Just to add to the very same pile of those who got retrenched because of AI, Gizmodo, the tech news site, laid off its human journalist, and at the Spanish language branch, Gizmodo en Español, they brought in AI. You wonder what's the plan? The plan was to translate English articles into Spanish. But get this, they had real human specialists whose job was to translate English into Spanish. So yeah, they replaced people with machines that couldn't even speak the right language properly. One journalist on his way out wrote, "I was replaced by a machine that doesn't even speak Spanish well." Then we go to Poland. When you talk about this is an actual mic drop thing. Yet, Off Radio Krakow fired its journalist, then weeks later relaunched with surprise presenters who turned up to be fully AI generated avatars. Their reason, of course, that for me sounds a little bit weird. Their reason was, and I quote the statement from their CEO, their reason was to reach young listeners, to talk about culture, art, and LGBTQ plus issues. Now, hold up. Are you young listeners really the ones asking for soulless synthetic AI radio hosts? Or was that just a convenient way to say we couldn't afford humans anymore? IllMind. IBM added itself to the very same list. IBM made headlines too in this very same field. They announced, "We are not hiring for 7,800 roles anymore." And you wonder what happened. How did they end up with that 7,800 vacancy of some sort? Because HR was fired. They fired their HR department, and the HR is now AI. They call it Ask HR. So Ask HR is an AI agent that automates 94% of routine HR tasks, from pay statements to internal queries. So their CEO Arvind Krishna said, "Yes, we laid off hundreds in HR, but our total workforce actually went up." I know you're asking yourself, how did that happen? You just laid off people and your workforce goes up. How does that happen? Because they reinvested those freed up salaries into hiring programmers and salespeople. And in their own way, they said they rehired people. They hired people who solve complex problems, not routine tasks. So wait. They didn't just replace HR with bots. They used the savings to hire people with thinking skills. I didn't know people in HR don't do much of thinking. Nonetheless, to add to that very same list of those companies that retrench people, CrowdStrike, yes, the cybersecurity company behind that massive global IT outage, announced a 5% workforce reduction and replaced those employees with AI. So let's recap. The company whose AI malfunction broke the world is now doubling on AI. I think something's not adding up here. So all these people are getting fired, all these people are getting retrenched. But who is getting hired? Definitely someone is getting hired. Let's go back to Klarna. And things just get even wilder here. After firing all those people and going all in on AI, they rehired some of them. Of course, 2 years later, CEO Semiakowski admitted, and I quote his statement, "The quality of work from AI was low. We needed human touch back." They couldn't do away with humans completely. From his exact words, he said, "From a brand and company perspective, it's critical to be clear with the customers. There will always be a human if you want one." He then added to that very same statement. He said cost was too big a factor in those decisions, which led to lower quality. So the reason why they had to hire AI or to fire the people and replace them with AI, the main factor was cost. But of course, it came at the expense of the quality. So they chased the savings but lost value. Now, just imagine being a customer talking to a sloppy chatbot that repeats what it just asked you to do. Like when you imagine you're asking a chatbot that you're having an issue with the router, and you tell the chatbot that the first thing that you did, you have tried to restart your router, but it's not working. Then down the line, the conversation then it tells you again, can you restart your router? Like, how will you feel? Welcome to the future of frustration. Of course, it couldn't be a just thing to end this episode without looking at what the prophets of doom said. I was started by Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic. He warned us and he said, AI will make half of all entry-level jobs obsolete. And he said, expect 10 to 20% white-collar unemployment in the next 1 to 5 years. I guess you get where the white-collar bloodbath thing is coming from. And LinkedIn seems to back that up. According to some stats from LinkedIn, the entry-level white-collar job posting are down 40% across platforms. Of course, not everyone blames AI. Some say the economy is just doing what the economists do. But for countries like Zimbabwe, where graduate unemployment is already a crisis, no matter the measure, the AI wave could feel more like a tsunami. So we have to ask, is AI really the cause? Or we are just confusing correlation and causation? You mind. On that very same list of the prophets of doom, the Bank of America says AI could eliminate over 300 million jobs globally. Damn, that's a big number. Elon Musk couldn't just end without adding something. He said there won't be jobs, but there will be purpose. Just wondering if the universities are teaching people their purposes, or they're teaching people how to fit in the jobs, how to fit or find a job, or how to fit within a working environment. Why are you going to work today? Is it because of the job or because of a purpose? Bill Gates said you work less, but you still need to matter. I guess how else will you matter apart from upgrading your skills or having AI skills within your pocket? Same admins edited that very same list. He said we may need a universal basic income. I don't know what he was trying to say there. But in translation from all what the prophets of doom were saying, I can see that even the people building this stuff, they aren't sure what it's going to do. I get this from the way their statements are varying from one person to another. Seems like everyone is just estimating some sort, and all their statements, I think they're much of based on the probability, on their personal view of what they think AI is going to deliver to us. Human time. Here's a punchline. We build AI to automate the boring stuff. Turns out the boring stuff was most people's jobs. Now, we cheer for AI while you're refreshing LinkedIn in incognito mode. Yes, AI is displacing people, but someone is getting hired. From what we mentioned above, you saw who is getting hired. There are people who are getting hired, not AI. And that someone who is getting hired often isn't AI. Is the person who knows how to use AI. So ask yourself, what if your next promotion is just a pink slip wrapped in AI code? And what happens when creativity, emotion, and judgment are no longer enough to protect you from clean, efficient algorithms? The most hounding of all, what if AI doesn't take all jobs, but just yours? Here's a weird one to chew on. If your company automates part of a job, then fires you, and your colleagues start doing the same work you were doing and also what you was doing with the help of AI, did AI replace you, or did your colleague? Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Ill Mind, where the boys aren't coming, they've already moved in. The white collar bloodbath is still fresh. It's just a mad word out there. I just connect the dots. Stay woke, stay weird. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this has been Ill Mind.